not only confirm our presence, but to also bring out ideas regarding the electoral process this far. I wish to mention that as a party, we still remain optimistic and as we heading towards victory. We have continued to maintain the lead through President Hangande against his contender Brandon Wille, and so far we stand at over 100,000 votes, and that to us is something nice to hear. But I also want to deal with other issues that relate to how we are faring nationwide. And for us, it's gratifying to note that, unlike 2021, we've made considerable improvements in Wapula province. I'm sure you recall that in Wapula province in 2021, we never got any seat, except at a time of by-elections. But we've been able to get a good harvest in the 2026 general elections, which is a great improvement on our part as a party. In addition to that, you may recall that in Eastern Province, we had about 2 seats there. This time around, we've been able to get about 9 seats, which for us again is another improvement, with very good results also at presidential level. I'm sure you've taken note to consider how we've performed in many places such as Chadiza, those that have already been announced by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. So we also look at Northern Province. There's been great improvement in Northern Province. We had about 4 members of parliament in Polongo, Mbala, Senga Hill, as well as Kaputa. But this time we have about 6 added. So we are not talking about a party in power that has lost seats, but a party that has gained seats. And for us, that is particularly important on an understanding that we are talking about 226 seats in the National Assembly. I should also further mention, for those that are aggrieved, given the manner in which they have performed, that they have themselves to blame because they decided to deliberately not set up structures, because you cannot run a political party without structures. It is the structures that makes it easy for you to even manage to file in councillors. Our colleagues did not file in about 400 plus, over 400 wards. They did not file in councillors, which we did ourselves. They did not file in members of parliament in about 72 constituencies. Now, not doing that at political level has consequences. The consequences are that when the president whom you are marketing is absent from that particular area, there are no people that are contesting as well who may take the political contestation as serious business at parliamentary level, at mayoral, at ward level. So in the absence of President Hakainde Hichilema, in many parts of the country, we had councillors and members of parliament, aspirants who were campaigning for us. And that is reflected in the manner in which the results are coming out. I also want to make it clear that UPND is not a new party. It has been growing over time. From its inception, people were saying it only belonged to one region. When UPND was growing, spread into Western, spread into Lusaka rural, spread into Copperbelt rural, until we got to 100% Northwestern province. In 2021, we got 100% in Northwestern province. We performed well in Western province. We performed well in Central province, of which we have done again. Remember that we have also added to our, our results in many parts, especially in new constituencies in Kafue, where we have swept all the constituencies, including the new one, starting from the mayoral. Similar to Isoka in Muchinga, we have swept starting from parliamentary, mayoral, and the president. So these statistics are not by accident. They arise out of hard work. I should further mention that many years ago, before 2016, President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND, in some parts of either Muchinga, Luapula, Northern, UPND could get zeros. We had to sit down to reflect as to why we were not performing well. Then we realized that it was because we are not engaging. In some parts, we had no structures. So we had to strengthen our capacity in that particular block by having all the structures there and ensuring that we campaign in those areas. When President Hakainde Hichilema was campaigning there, people were laughing that he was busing people from one town to the other. But the people that he was meeting in those crowds have demonstrated that they heard the message in Isoka, where he had been. That kind of result does not come by accident. It is out of hard work, colleagues. I also want to mention on the Copper Belt province that when you look at, for example, in Chirabombo, we've managed to get one in Konkola there. We've managed to get one in Chingola, and we lost in 2021. We lost Ron. We have gotten it. Copper Belt Rulo, we've swept. Sure, you know that. In Bongwe and where Matambo is, we have managed to get also the Mwambazi there, whom we are surviving on, and also the Gamma Stewart, a new one in Dola, we've gotten. That's it. And of course, in every political contestation, depending on a number of factors, there are times when you can lose 1 or 2 seats, and that is permissible in a democracy. We are not complaining. We are saying the people of Zambia are speaking through the ballot, and that is what is expected in a country that has a successful democratic dispensation. We continue to reiterate President Hakainde Hichilema's promise to the people of Zambia that elections will be free, fair, and credible, where stakeholders will have to engage with the Electoral Commission of Zambia where they are dissatisfied, so that we move together as a country. And we still want to reiterate our position that we still believe that political contestation and election should not be a matter of life and death. It should be an opportunity for citizens to exercise their democratic right to choose leaders of their choice. So we are glad that we continue to take this lead, and we remain, we remain optimistic that we are going to carry the day. Lastly, on 2 key issues, especially, last issue of propaganda, we've also noticed the growing trend where there's a lot of misinformation. This one has been killed, this one is gone missing. Even when you are in elections, elections do not extinguish legislation. Why Maximo is not involved in activities that may bring him in conflict with the law is because we do understand that there is life after the elections. Some citizens have taken the law in their own hands to break the law with impunity, scandalize or rather defame others online, and bring themselves in conflict with the cybersecurity law. The law is very active. It is not also good that some people are being nabbed because of their recklessness. There is more to life than politics. Elections should not make us commit crime. I think that's the message to our people. And we await the next announcement, and we've also heard concerns from our colleagues that are raising issues that relate to Kembe. That is the concern they have raised. They are raising it, obviously they want to raise it before the ECZ. And when it's time for us to raise ours, we'll raise our concern. So we respect the position of other stakeholders and the concerns that they are raising. The ECZ is the only constitutional institution that has been given that electoral mandate to preside over all the affairs of the electoral system of this country. So we want to live by that provision and ensure that what is supposed to be resolved by ECZ will be resolved by ECZ, not from ourselves. And people are asking me to react to the issue. I said, look, I'm not ECZ. Let ECZ deal with concerns from other stakeholders. And for us, when a mistake has been made, or when a correction has to be made, it does not mean that we take away credibility. So ECZ will guide if there are concerns, in the positive sense or in the negative sense. If you are to ask me for my independent opinion, I would tell you that we wait upon ECZ to obviously guide us, because all of us are stakeholders who are supposed to be guided by the same institution. I thank you. Any question? Any question? No questions. Okay.
No question.
Huh?
It was interesting.
Okay.